At the wedding venue, the groom has fled. Chasing after Lin Wanwan, who burst in wearing a flowing white dress, he vanished, leaving me, adorned in an exquisitely tailored wedding gown that cost a fortune, to confront a sea of guests, their murmurs buzzing like a swarm of bees. The MC's face turned ashen, his hand trembling around the microphone. The expressions of the Gu family's parents were as dark as the bottom of a pot. I cast my gaze downward at the bouquet of lilies of the valley, reportedly flown in for this occasion, then lifted my eyes to the resolute figure of Gu Qin disappearing through the doorway, before sweeping my glance over the hundreds of spectators below, some filled with sympathy, others reveling in schadenfreude, and many simply there for the spectacle. Silently, I counted to 3. Very well. The electronic voice that had lain dormant in my mind for days finally stirred to life. Ding. Critical plot point wedding escape detected. Ding. Female antagonist's resentment value cleared. Ding. Bystander viewing system officially activated. At the wedding venue, the groom has fled. Chasing after him is Lin Wanwan, who burst in wearing a white dress. I, adorned in an exquisitely tailored wedding gown worth a fortune, am left to confront a sea of guests and the buzzing murmurs that envelop the room. The MC's face has drained of color, his hand trembling as it clutches the microphone. The expressions on the faces of the Gu family parents are as dark as the bottom of a pot. I lower my gaze to the bouquet of lilies of the valley in my hand, purportedly air-freighted, before lifting my eyes to the resolute silhouette of Gu Qin as he disappears through the door, and then scan the crowd below, where some wear looks of sympathy. Others relish in schadenfreude, while many simply appear to be spectators in this unfolding drama. I silently count to 3. Very well. The electronic voice that had lain dormant in my mind for several days has finally awakened. Ding. Detecting a critical plot point, the wedding elopement. Hostility value of the female antagonist has been reset to 0. Gossip and spectacle system officially activated. Beginner's gift package issued. Lin Wanwan's Little White Flower Halo Weakening Card, 24 hours, X1, cash reward of 1 million, already deposited into the host's anonymous account. Oh dear. On the 3rd day of transmigration, the narrative has finally reached this juncture. My name is Su Jin. 3 days ago, I was merely a corporate drone, burned out from work and sleepless nights. Upon opening my eyes again, I found myself transformed into the infamous female antagonist, sharing my name in this antiquated tale of a domineering CEO's heart-wrenching exploits. In the original story, Su Jin harbored an obsessive infatuation for the male lead, Gu Qin, relentlessly pursuing him while employing every means to sever his bond with his true love, Lin Wanwan, even resorting to drugging him into a coerced marriage. And the result? At the wedding, the male lead cast aside his bride, me, in front of all the guests for the sake of his Wanwan. In the original plot, the malevolent female antagonist could not endure such a profound humiliation, causing a scene that rendered her the laughingstock of the city, setting the stage for her subsequent downfall at the hands of the leads. However, in this moment, I raised my hand and, amidst the MC's incredulous gaze, seized the microphone from him. Clearing my throat, the grand banquet hall fell silent, all eyes fixated upon me. Anticipating my impending hysteria, I tested the microphone, my voice resonating clearly through the speakers, and remarked casually, "Well, the groom has run away, as everyone has witnessed." I paused for effect, my tone as light as if discussing the weather. Nevertheless, the feast has been arranged and paid for in advance. We might as well indulge. I even managed to don a professional smile, waving at the throng below. Dear guests, since you are all here, let us not stand on ceremony. Please, eat and drink to your heart's content. Let nothing go to waste, especially those bottles of Romani Conti from 82, a prized possession of Gu Chen's father. If we don't open them today, who knows who might benefit in the future. Waitstaff, please refill our esteemed guests' glasses. An eerie silence enveloped the room. The sound of a pin dropping could be heard. Mr. Gu's face shifted from black to purple, while Mrs. Gu clutched her chest, appearing on the brink of fainting. The expressions of the guests shifted from amusement to a daze of disbelief. Moments later, a light chuckle escaped from a corner of the room. I turned to see a man in a deep gray suit, seated farthest from the main table, at ease as he toyed with a lighter. He was strikingly handsome, with deep-set features, particularly his eyes, which were tranquil like an ancient well, but now sparkled with a hint of amusement. Noticing my gaze, he did not shy away. Instead, he raised his champagne glass in a distant toast. Intriguing. I chose to ignore him and continued my performance. "Oh, right," I exclaimed, as if suddenly recalling something important. Tapping my forehead. "MC, could you please change the background music to Good Day or Today is a Good Day? Let us inject some festivity into the atmosphere." The MC, likely having spent 2 decades in his profession, had never encountered such an absurd request. Ultimately, under the piercing gazes of the Goo parents and my encouraging smile, he quaked as he pressed the play button. Hey! The joyous drums herald the celebratory occasion. The cheerful melody instantly filled the opulent yet oddly tense wedding hall. Guests exchanged glances, some unable to suppress their laughter. Once the first chuckle erupted, a second quickly followed. Gradually, the atmosphere, taut to its limits, morphed into a grand absurdist comedy, courtesy of the infectious music and my audacious antics as the bride leading the banquet. I nodded in satisfaction, carefully lifting the heavy train of my gown, adorned with glittering diamonds, and made my way down from the stage, my destination clear, the main table. Seated there, apart from the Goo parents, were some of the most influential figures in a city. Ignoring the Goo parents' grim faces, I pulled out the chair that Guchen had vacated and plopped down. Uncle Li, Uncle Wang, Aunt Zhang, I greeted each one with a poised smile. Don't just sit there. Dig in. This king crab has just arrived, still warm. I took a pair of serving chopsticks and unabashedly helped myself to a generous portion of crab leg meat. The flesh was succulent and firm. Ah, truly. This top-tier hotel was worth every penny of the $1 million banquet. Mr. Gu's beard trembled in fury. Su-jin, do you have no shame? I leisurely peeled the crab shell, not even lifting my eyes. Uncle Gu, what you say is rather amusing. How much is shame worth? Can it be eaten? Your son, in front of everyone, abandoned his legally wedded wife for another woman. Would you consider such an act to be shameful? I raised my gaze to meet his, my expression calm and unwavering. Today's disgrace belongs to your Gu family, not to me, Su-jin. While my family may not possess the stature of the Gu family, we are certainly not mere soft persimmons to be trampled upon without protest. Instead of directing your ire toward me, perhaps you should contemplate how to manage the mess your precious son has left behind. Mr. Gu was rendered speechless by my retort. The surrounding dignitaries exchanged glances, their gazes towards me now tinged with scrutiny rather than the previous disdain. I chose to disregard them, focusing intently on the exquisite cuisine before me: lobster sashimi, truffle foie gras, Buddha jumps over the wall, all the most expensive dishes. As I savored the delicacies, I delightedly plotted in my mind. The reward of 1 million from the system had been credited to my account. Although the original Su-jin was love-struck, she had inherited a considerable trust fund and several prime properties from her late parents. However, she had been so infatuated with Guchen that she had neglected to manage her assets. Now, I was contemplating how to utilize this startup capital to generate more wealth when my phone, nestled in the bridesmaid's handbag, vibrated violently. Upon retrieving it, I was astounded by the trending topics: Gu family's heir abandons bride at wedding to pursue love, Su-jin's grand dreams of wealth shattered at the altar, Lin Wanwan's true love prevails. Clicking on the link, the top post unveiled a video clip capturing the moment Guchen rushed out of the hotel lobby, hand in hand with the weeping Lin Wanwan, clad in a simple white dress. The comments were unbearable to read. Oh my, a real-life domineering CEO pursuing love. Gu Xiao is so handsome. I'm so touched. True love indeed conquers all. Wanwan, our goddess, deserves it. Su-jin had it coming. Who told her to use underhanded tactics to force a marriage? Karma. Exactly. She should take a good look in the mirror. How could Gu Xiao possibly be interested in her? Wanwan is the true love. My heart aches for Wanwan. She must have been driven to desperation by that wicked woman to steal her fiancé. Su-jin is probably crying her eyes out at the hotel right now, haha. Occasionally, a few comments came to my defense, questioning Gu Chen's integrity or expressing sympathy for my public abandonment. But they were swiftly drowned out by the fervor of true love advocates and Lin Wanwan's fans. The public sentiment was overwhelmingly against me, trampling my reputation while elevating theirs. Without a doubt, the Gu family or Lin Wanwan's team was orchestrating this, aiming to minimize the negative impact of Gu Chen's elopement while thoroughly nailing me to the cross of the villainous antagonist's disgrace. As I scrolled through the comments, rather than feeling anger, I found myself laughing joyously. How fortuitous. Just when I thought I had no juicy gossip, it had come knocking at my door. I quickly logged into a long-neglected social media account. This account was registered by the original owner, Sue Jean, during her middle school years, under the moniker I Want to Eat Melon Today. It remains utterly barren, save for a handful of dormant followers. Perfect. With nimble fingers, I crafted a post. I want to eat melon today v. Present at the scene, just descended from the ceremonial stage. The groom has fled, and the bride has taken the lead in the banquet. The wine is delightful, but the dishes are rather tough. Some individuals might as well save their money spent on hired commentators and instead treat the guests to a few more substantial dishes. Additionally, here are some high-definition photos from the event. The images, hastily captured, include one of Guchen pulling Lin Wanwan away, artfully taken from a challenging angle that vividly captures the anxious expression on Guchen's face and the fleeting smile on Lin Wanwan's lips as she glanced back in trepidation. Another showcases the lavish main table, overflowing with delicacies, my hand adorned with a pigeon egg wedding ring elegantly grasping a piece of lobster. The final image presents a panoramic view of the banquet hall, filled with guests engaged in varied expressions, whispering to one another. All set against the backdrop of the song Good Days. I refrained from any subjective commentary, opting instead for the most straightforward narration. Once posted, I directly informed several active entertainment gossip accounts before tossing my phone aside. Remaining inconspicuous, I continued to savor my crab legs. In the ensuing moments, I epitomized the essence of carefree abandon. Under the scrutinizing gazes of the prominent figures at the main table, I devoured half a king crab, a portion of foie gras, and even sipped a small bowl of Buddha jumps over the wall. At one point, I even requested a takeout box from the waiter to pack the exquisite dim sum that had gone untouched. We must not waste food, I asserted to Gu's mother, who nearly fainted from indignation. The atmosphere of the banquet hall, swayed by the infectious music and my antics, gradually transformed into a bizarre revelry. Many guests genuinely loosened up, gossiping and shifting the focus of conversation from the Gu family's embarrassment to the intriguing nature of the Sue family girl. The man in the corner, raising his glass, had mysteriously departed. Just as I was contemplating whether to pack another portion of caviar, my phone began to vibrate furiously once more. This time, it was not a call but a deluge of notifications from social media. Opening my secondary account, I Want to Eat Melon Today, I found 99 messages, and the follower count skyrocketing as if propelled by a rocket. Clicking on my post revealed tens of thousands of shares, hundreds of thousands of comments, and numerous likes. The top comment read, "Holy cow. Front row capturing the drama. Sister Cha is incredible. Her mindset is as steady as a rock." The second, "I'm dying of laughter. The Good Days BGM accompanying a wedding escape and the bride leading the feast. What is this magical realism?" The third, "Sister Cha. This image carries immense information. Guchen's expression resembles that of a grieving son, while Lin Wanwan's smile upon looking back. Utterly chilling." The fourth, "Am I the only one noticing Sister Cha's pigeon egg ring? And the array of substantial dishes? Suddenly, being abandoned doesn't seem so unacceptable. Dog head for self-preservation." The fifth, "Where are the hired commentators? Just moments ago, they were everywhere, disparaging the bride's true love. Don't you think Sister Cha's live coverage is far more riveting than your fabricated tales?" The tide of public opinion began to shift with an eerie swiftness. The act of leading the banquet made Sister Cha an instant sensation, propelling Good Days to trending status. An influx of individuals surged into my secondary account, leaving comments praising Sister Cha's prowess and requesting more updates. The comment section beneath my post had transformed into a vibrant hub of joyful banter. Occasionally, a few guests claiming to be present at the event chimed in, corroborating my accounts with additional vivid details, such as Gu's father shattering a glass in anger, Gu's mother nearly fainting, and the bride calmly directing the waitstaff to serve dishes. The poignant atmosphere painstakingly crafted by the Gu family and their hired commentators was dismantled by my unconventional approach at the banquet and a few candid snapshots. In its place arose a delightful mockery from across the internet and a burgeoning curiosity regarding me, the enigmatic Sister Cha. My phone buzzed again as an unfamiliar number called. I answered languidly. "Sue Jean, is this your doing?" Guchen's voice, laced with fury, almost pierced my eardrum, accompanied by the soft sobs of Lin Wanwan in the background. "Gushao?" I replied innocently, "What on earth? I'm simply enjoying my meal. Did you call to inquire about the guests' opinions on your family's banquet?" The general consensus is favorable, particularly regarding that Kangdi. Everyone praises your father's generosity. Stop feigning ignorance. Is that account I want to eat melon today yours? His voice trembled with rage. Huh? What melon? I continued to play the fool. You fled from your true love's wedding, leaving me to face hundreds of guests. I remained calm and collected, merely having a meal. What more do you want? Should I go live and lament your abandonment? That would be quite unbecoming. Tarnishing the glorious image of your true love. You. Guchen was momentarily rendered speechless by my retort. Oh, by the way, I suddenly recalled, Miss Lin is beside you. Right? Please inform her to be cautious while crying. Her false eyelashes seem slightly askew. I have a high-definition photo that clearly captures it. On the other end. Lin Wanwan let out a sharp gasp, followed by Gu Chen's furious roar. I promptly ended the call and blocked the number, relishing the newfound tranquility. This melon was indeed delectable. A system notification chimed in. Ding. Host has successfully guided public opinion, reversed negative personal image, and created a sensational event by leading the banquet. Reward, basic tea appreciation skill, passive ability, automatically recognizes green tea behaviors, cash reward of 500,000. Ding. Detection of Lin Wanwan's white flower halo in effect, displaying vulnerability invokes sympathy. Would you like to use the time-limiting suppression card? Is there even a question? Use it. The suppression card for Lin Wanwan's white flower halo has been successfully utilized. Duration, 24 hours. Excellent. I elegantly wiped my mouth and stood up. This farce had reached its conclusion. I disregarded the resentful glares from Gu's parents, unconcerned by the inquisitive, curious, and even slightly admiring gazes directed at me. Lifting my skirt, I strode through the crowd like a triumphant general, head held high. Upon reaching the hotel entrance, the night breeze was pleasantly cool. A discreet black Bentley glided to a stop before me. The window lowered, revealing a sharply defined profile, the man who had been the first to applaud me from the corner moments ago. He turned his head, his calm, ancient well-like eyes resting upon me, exuding a hint of curiosity and unabashed interest. Miss Sue, he began, his voice deep and melodious like a cello, would you care for a ride? I raised an eyebrow. Do we know each other? We do now, he replied, a subtle smile gracing his lips, Zhou Yanqin. The name rang a bell. I swiftly rifled through my memory. Yo family? The one with deeper roots than the Gu family, operating with greater discretion, rumored to possess intricate connections that even Gu's father regards with trepidation. The narrative barely touched upon the Zhou family, only hinting at their background as mere scenery. Zhou Yanqin had not even been mentioned. What brings this eminent figure to Gu Chen's wedding, seated in the far corner? Mr. Zhou, I maintain my vigilance. What insight do you provide? He chuckled softly, his voice laced with a languid magnetism. Insight is perhaps too grand a term. I simply found Miss Sue's recent display at the banquet to be utterly captivating, leaving one in awe. I could not resist the urge to meet this intriguing Sister Cha. He was aware of my secondary account? Quite well informed. Thank you for the compliment. I shrugged, but I must decline the ride. My booked car is arriving shortly. No sooner had I spoken than my ride, a white Volkswagen, arrived. Zhou Yanqin made no further insistence, merely extending a finely crafted business card. Miss Sue is a clever woman. Should you ever require assistance? Or should there be a more significant melon to share? He paused, the amusement in his eyes deepening. Do not hesitate to reach out. I accepted the card, its surface cool to the touch, bearing only his name and a phone number, devoid of any other details. All right. I shall keep you in mind for any future melons. I shook the business card, opened the car door, and settled into the ride-hailing vehicle. The car roared to life. In the rearview mirror, that black Bentley remained stationary, like a lurking beast. Zhou Yanqin's gaze seemed to pierce through the glass, landing squarely on me. It was not until we turned the corner that he vanished from sight. I held that business card, deep in thought. This Zhou Yanqin appeared too abruptly, his intentions shrouded in mystery. Yet, my intuition whispered that he was not an adversary. At least, not for now. Upon returning to Su Jin's expansive penthouse in the city center, I promptly kicked off my painfully tight high heels and tore away the heavy wedding gown. After indulging in a hot bath, I washed away the fatigue and the clamor of the hotel. Wrapping myself in a bathrobe, my phone erupted once more. This time, It was an influx of calls and messages from friends and family, alongside a relentless barrage from my secondary account's backend. I ignored them all. Logging onto my computer, I opened the backend of my little account named Still Wanna Eat Melons Today. My private messages were overflowing, and my follower count had surpassed 1 million. The latest post was drawing an avalanche of comments. Among the usual shouts of Sister Cha and haha, some distinct voices began to surface. Sister Cha, quick. Look at the trending topic next door. Lin Wanwan is live streaming. Yes. She has been crying for half an hour, saying sorry to you. But that she and Goose shower true love, blah blah blah, it's making me furious. Sister Cha, go for it. Tear her apart. We, the Cha family army, are backing you. Oh, the little white flower has started her performance? And she is streaming? I immediately clicked onto the hottest live streaming platform. Sure enough, featured on the homepage was Lin Wanwan's pitiful face. The title of her live stream read, "I'm sorry, everyone, there are some things I want to clarify." I entered. Lin Wanwan was clad in a simple white sweater, her eyes swollen like peaches, appearing devoid of makeup, or so it seemed. Her hair cascading gently over her shoulders, exuding an aura of fragility. She faced the camera, her voice choked with emotion. I know today's events have made everyone laugh at me. I understand many are cursing and blaming me, and I accept it all. She sniffled, tears cascading down her cheeks at just the right moment. However, matters of the heart are truly beyond my control. Achin and I, we've known each other for a long time, and we genuinely love each other. She raised her tear-filled eyes, looking sincerely into the lens. Miss Sujin. She used some underhanded tactics. Achin, he was also left with no choice. I realized my appearance was inappropriate, disrupting the wedding. But when I heard that Achin was truly going to marry someone else, my heart felt as if it were being sliced by a knife. I couldn't restrain myself. Her tears were heartfelt, resembling rain-soaked pear blossoms, and the comments section instantly flooded with expressions of sympathy for Wanwan. Declarations of true love is innocent, and calls to defeat the wicked female antagonist. Occasionally, a few dissenting voices emerged, questioning, is being left with no choice a justification to publicly abandon a bride? Any evidence of those tactics? But they were swiftly drowned in the torrent of true love. The online army continued its assault. Lin Wanwan's image as a delicate little flower, under the deliberately crafted atmosphere of sorrow, seemed to regain its effectiveness. Even if her halo had dimmed, her foundational skills were still intact. I watched the woman on the screen, weeping as if her heart were shattered, and smirked coldly. Tactics? Left with no choice? In the original narrative, Gu Chen's disdain for Su Jin was genuine, but he was by no means a chastened paragon of virtue. He relished Su Jin's adoration, exploiting the resources of the Su family, even during the incident when Su Jin supposedly drugged him. The text remained ambiguous on whether he fell victim. As for Lin Wanwan, this pure, unblemished little white flower had, behind the scenes, incited Gu Chen to suppress the Su family and orchestrated numerous traps for Su Jin. Now, it seems they had both adopted the role of victims. I flexed my fingers. It was time to spice up this live stream. I switched back to my gossip account and directly shared the link to Lin Wanwan's live stream, captioning it, "Still Wanna Eat Melons Today v Lin Wanwan v. Miss Lin is crying so sorrowfully, her voice must be hoarse. Why not take a sip of water to soothe it? And perhaps show everyone that set of pure and innocent photos you took in Paris last year? I recall one where you reclined on a bed of roses, and that little tattoo beneath your collarbone was rather distinctive, wasn't it? Eating melons, eating melons." Beneath the text, I attached an image. Not a photo shoot, but a crystal-clear screenshot of the membership information from a high-end private club. Name, Lin Wanwan. Membership level, Gold Card. Most recent spending record, 3 months ago, a reserved Sky Suite. Expenditure, 888 yuan. Among the list of attendees, Gu Chen's name stood out, along with several other wealthy heirs. The crux of the matter was that this club was infamous in the circle for its unsavory dealings, a hotspot for certain illicit transactions and resource exchanges. Upon the release of this image, it was akin to pouring cold water into a boiling pot of oil. Lin Wanwan's live stream momentarily stuttered as the comments section erupted. What the hell? Cloud Top Club? Gold Card member? Spent 680,000? Wasn't he Lin Wanwan supposed to be a pure, Resilient little flower from a modest background, relying solely on her own efforts? This level of spending? Guchin was present? 3 months ago? Wasn't he Guchin engaged to Sujin at that time? A tattoo? Pure and innocent photo shoot? This is too much information for my CPU to handle. Sister Cha, you're a legend. This melon is ripe for the picking. Lin Wanwan had clearly noticed the chaotic shift in the comments. The sorrow on her face instantly froze, a flicker of panic flashing in her eyes. I don't know what you're talking about. What club? That image is fake. It's edited. Someone is deliberately framing me. It must be Sujin. It has to be her. Comments flooded in. She's panicking. She's panicking. Edited image? Sister Cha has always been precise and ruthless. Waiting for the follow-up. Has the little white flower S persona collapsed? I smiled slightly, tapping my fingers. I posted again. Still want to eat melons today v. Edited image? Curious. Then Miss Lin. Could you explain from which account that you, who claims to be struggling, made the payment for that 500,000 yuan abstract painting at last month's charity gala? Charity gala auction record screenshot JPG. The screenshot clearly displayed that the purchaser of the painting was none other than Lin Wanwan herself. She had consistently claimed to come from a humble background, surviving on meager earnings as a designer, and that it was only through her passion for art and Gu Chen's occasional assistance that she had reached her current status. Spending 500,000 on a painting? Especially during the period she claimed to be at her most vulnerable, oppressed by the malicious female antagonist, the slap to her face was resounding. The live stream descended into utter chaos. Lin Wanwan's face turned pale, her lips trembling as she could no longer maintain the pitiful facade. Shut it down. Turn off the live stream. She screamed, her voice twisted and distorted, shrieking at the staff off camera. The screen shook momentarily before fading to black. The live stream ended. But the storm was just beginning. Lin Wanwan gold card at Cloud Top Club, Lin Wanwan's exorbitantly priced charity artwork, little white flower persona collapses. Sister Cha's solid evidence. Several trending topics surged to the top with blazing speed, each followed by a bright red explosion icon. The public's ability to uncover the truth was terrifying. Lin Wanwan's past portrayals of innocence, aspiration, and lack of vanity were unearthed, juxtaposed against her gold card membership and exorbitant spending records, creating a profound irony. Some of her earlier posts, revealing a more ambiguous and provocative tone, were also dug up. The public opinion that had once elevated her onto the pedestal of the goddess of true love had instantaneously reversed, transforming into a collective exposure and ridicule. What pure little flower. Turns out she's a gilded plastic flower. While feigning the role of a struggling individual, she was extravagantly squandering money at a top-tier club. Disgusting. Guchin is blind, it's confirmed. To abandon his fiancée for such a character? Sister Cha, you've done splendidly. This kind of green tea should be torn apart. Even the official WeChat of Gu Group fell into disarray. Is the heir of your esteemed company of such taste? I would suggest scrutinizing the Gu family's accounts to ascertain whether any funds have been misappropriated in the name of true love. The plummeting stock prices are indeed commendable. Such a morally bankrupt enterprise deserves to collapse post-haste. As I perused the online tempest of scandal, I delightfully poured myself a glass of red wine. The system notification chimed. Ding. Host has successfully countered Lin Wanwan, exposing her false persona and creating a sensational scandal. Reward, basic financial acumen, enhancing sensitivity to market fluctuations. Cash prize of 1 million. Ding. The stock price of Gu Group has begun to decline due to public sentiment. Excellent. The first phase of this war of public opinion has been decisively won. Next, it is time to get serious. I set down my wine glass, opened my laptop, and logged into my stock trading and trust fund accounts. Although the original owner, Sujin, was infatuated with love, her assets were indeed substantial. With tens of millions in liquid funds nestled within her trust fund, coupled with the system's reward of 5 million, 1 million from the wedding, 500,000 from public opinion, and 1 million from Lin Wanwan, alongside several prime properties inherited from my parents, the initial capital was more than sufficient. I summoned the stock chart of Gu Group, GSJT. As anticipated, due to today's cascade of scandals, the stock opened with a significant gap down, fluctuating downward. With a decline already exceeding 5 and still falling, the market was engulfed in panic. Numerous retail investors were liquidating their holdings. This was precisely the opportunity one sought. I refrained from acting immediately. Instead, I utilized my newly acquired basic financial acumen, combined with my recollection of the original storyline, wherein Gu Group indeed faced a crisis later due to Gu Chen's infatuated decisions and internal issues, and swiftly reviewed Gu Group's financial reports and public information from recent years, analyzing the situation with calm deliberation. The company's fundamentals remained intact, yet internal management was chaotic. With the common maladies of a family business exacerbated by the aging patriarch, Gu's declining capabilities and obstinacy, leading to several critical projects faltering. This scandal served as both a catalyst and a magnifying glass. I assessed that there was still room for the stock price to drop further. The panic selling had yet to reach its zenith. I patiently awaited the opportune moment. Concurrently, I scoured various negative news articles and analytical posts about Gu Group online, searching for overlooked details that could incite even greater panic. At last, in an inconspicuous corner of a financial forum, I stumbled upon an anonymous exposé. The poster claimed to be a former employee of Zhichuang Technology, a subsidiary of Gu Group. The post accused Zhichuang of serious financial falsifications to expedite its initial public offering, alleging significant flaws in its core patented technologies that could not withstand scrutiny. The individual had been dismissed for reporting these issues to superiors. The post garnered little attention, with only a few sarcastic comments ridiculing the poster's grievances. Yet my basic financial acumen tingled with intrigue. My intuition whispered that this might indeed hold truth. In the original narrative, a major crisis for Gu Group arose from the fallout of its technology company collapsing. I promptly screenshot the key information from this anonymous post for safekeeping. Then, I switched back to my gossip account. Today, I also wish to indulge in some gossip. I, Cha, have just stumbled upon an intriguing anonymous post regarding Zhichuang Technology under Gu Group, screenshot attached. Though I lack financial expertise, if this proves to be factual, my GSJD shareholders, may you find solace? My secondary account was currently enjoying immense traffic. Upon posting, it instantly ignited a firestorm. What? Financial fraud? Patent deceit? Zhichuang Technology? I recall that it is the subsidiary Gu Group has been eager to take public these past 2 years. Cha has struck again. This scandal is growing larger by the minute. Quick flee. I can no longer hold on to Gu Group stocks. This is it. I'm heavily invested in GSJD. Rooftop rendezvous. Panic spread like a contagion. Retail investors who had previously been hesitating upon witnessing my prophetic claims could no longer remain passive. They began to sell off their holdings at any cost. The stock price of GSJD plummeted like a kite severed from its string, diving sharply. The drop expanded rapidly to 8, then 10, hurtling towards the daily limit. Gu Group urgently issued a statement, claiming the circulating information was false, that the company was operating normally, and that it reserved the right to pursue legal action against the slanderers. Yet this feeble announcement was but a drop in the bucket against the surging tide of panic and my undeniable evidence. Watching that glaring, downward trending candlestick, I understood that the time had come. I took a deep breath, mobilizing nearly all of the liquid assets in the trust fund, along with my available cash. My fingers danced across the keyboard, issuing a buy order. Target, GSJT. Strategy, short selling. The price was set near the precarious limit down level. A torrent of panic-driven sell orders flooded the market, and my short position was executed instantaneously. A massive influx of capital crashed down upon the already precarious Gu Group stock price like an icy tide. The limit down was firmly sealed. As I gazed at the substantial, unrealized profits instantly generated in my account, alongside the GSJD stock firmly pinned at the limit down, I leaned back in my chair, exhaling a long sigh of relief. The first step was accomplished. In the ensuing days, Gu Group was ensnared in an unprecedented dual storm of public opinion and financial turmoil. The stock price continued to hit the limit down, evaporating nearly 100 billion in market value. The board of directors was enraged and shareholders exerted immense pressure. The beleaguered patriarch, Gu, under tremendous strain, was compelled to announce the temporary suspension of all of Gu Chen's duties within the group, allowing him to reflect in solitude. Gu Chen bombarded my phone with calls, which I had blocked, and even camped outside my apartment building, only to be thwarted by diligent security personnel. Like a gambler blinded by rage, he roared at me through the security barrier. Su Jin. You madwoman. You viper. Do you wish to ruin the Gu family? Do you even comprehend what you are doing? I stood before the floor-to-ceiling window, looking down at the flustered man below, devoid of composure. I leisurely sipped my coffee. Gu Shao, my voice resonated clearly and calmly through the security intercom. The one who has brought ruin upon the Gu family has never been me. It is you. It was you who abandoned me at the wedding for your so-called pure white lotus. It is your family that has pampered her, shielded her, and even conspired against me. Now, I merely lay bare your deeds in the sunlight for all to witness. As for what I am doing, I smiled slightly. I am merely enjoying the spectacle. And perhaps collecting some interest. Guchen trembled with rage, ultimately being forcibly removed by the Gu family's bodyguards who had arrived in response to the commotion. Lin Wanwan, meanwhile, vanished entirely. Her social media accounts fell silent, her phone turned off, as if she had evaporated from existence. It was rumored that the Gu family had secretly sent her abroad to evade the fallout. Her meticulously crafted image of innocence had become synonymous with mockery across the internet, effectively ending her career. The online fervor continued unabated. The moniker Sister Cha had been firmly established, becoming a standard-bearer in the gossip community. My gossip account's follower count surged towards 5 million. Daily, throngs of individuals flocked to check in, urging me for updates, inquiring if Sister Cha had any new gossip. I occasionally shared trivial snippets to maintain the buzz. However, my true focus had shifted entirely to the financial market. With the initial windfall from shorting Gu Group, coupled with my keen basic financial acumen, I thrived in the stock market. My modest capital quickly multiplied, snowballing into greater sums. Simultaneously, I began to engage with some of Gu Group's minor shareholders. Having witnessed the stock price collapse, they harbored serious doubts about the capabilities of the Gu father-son duo. And discontent was brewing. Through an anonymous intermediary, I discreetly acquired shares of Gu Group from these anxious shareholders, paying slightly above market price yet significantly below pre-crash levels. Little by little, I amassed more shares. This process required patience and prudence. I am akin to a spider lurking in the shadows, silently weaving my intricate web. Throughout this time, Zhou Yenshin's business card has quietly resided in my drawer. I have refrained from contacting him, and he has not made any further appearances. Yet, I am acutely aware that he is undoubtedly observing everything that transpires. On this particular day, having just concluded a clandestine online transaction with a minor overseas shareholder, successfully acquiring the Gu family shares, the doorbell chimed. The surveillance screen revealed a face both unexpected and yet entirely anticipated: Zhou Yenshin, clad in a well-tailored dark suit. He stood casually outside, holding an exquisitely packaged fruit basket. I raised an eyebrow, signaling security to grant him entry. As the doors swung open, his gaze swept across my living room cluttered with financial documents before settling on me, a knowing smile gracing his lips. It appears that Miss Cha has been quite busy of late. He stepped inside, placing the fruit basket on the entryway cabinet. His actions as natural as those of an old friend coming to visit. A small token of goodwill, a seasonal gift to replenish essential vitamins. I observed the bounty he had brought, a selection of the season's most luxurious fruits, the exquisite Qingwang grapes, the coveted Musang King durian, and a large cantaloupe. Indeed, it was quite fitting. Mr. Zhou is evidently well informed. I poured him a glass of water, cutting to the chase. What brings you here? Zhou Yenshin accepted the glass, setting it aside without sipping. He approached the floor-to-ceiling window, gazing down at the cityscape, his silhouette tall and imposing. The Gu family is currently embroiled in chaos. Yet, even a sinking ship retains some valuable nails. He turned to me, his gaze piercing. You've acquired those scattered shares, along with continued purchases in the secondary market. You must be holding a considerable stake now, yes? A chill ran through me. He was indeed fully aware. A little, I replied vaguely. Do you wish to enter the board of directors? He queried directly. Is that not possible? I countered. Of course it is, Zhou Yenshin smiled, his expression exuding a calm dominance. However, to secure that ticket, your current holdings coupled with the piecemeal acquisitions in the secondary market still fall short. He paused before dropping a bombshell. Gu Shenbong, the second uncle of the Gu family, possesses 73 of the shares and is the largest individual shareholder aside from the Gu father and son. He is currently quite dissatisfied with them and is eager to divest. My heart raced. 73%. If I could acquire that, combined with the nearly 8 of scattered shares I have already amassed, along with ongoing secondary market purchases, my holding could surpass 10, granting me the right to nominate a director. Perhaps even more. This is indeed a decisive bargaining chip. What is his asking price? I asked, struggling to suppress my excitement and maintain a calm demeanor. Zhou Yenshin quoted a figure, an astronomical sum that took my breath away, far exceeding all the funds at my disposal. Has he lost his mind? I frowned. Given the current state of the Gu family, does he truly believe his shares are worth that? The price is inflated. Zhou Yenshin nodded, testing the waters, gambling that someone desperately needs this pivotal stake and that the Gu family will not genuinely collapse. Moreover, he added, you are not the only one eyeing this opportunity. The Gu father and son are also trying to repurchase, along with several other eager competitors. I fell into silence. The financial gap is too vast. Even if I liquidated all my stocks and added the funds available from the trust, it would still be woefully insufficient. Is all my effort to be in vain? Thus, Zhou Yenshin regarded me, a glimmer of shrewdness flickering in his eyes. I have come to propose a transaction. What sort of transaction? I inquired. I shall lend you the funds you require, he stated, astonishingly, in my personal capacity, to facilitate your acquisition of Gu Zhenbang's shares. I stared at him, bewildered. What are the terms? I questioned, knowing well that nothing comes without a cost, especially from someone like Zhou Yenshin. 2 conditions. He raised 2 fingers. First, upon completion of the acquisition, I require a position as an observer on the Gu board. I will not partake in daily decisions, but will retain the right to be informed. This condition seemed reasonable. An observer lacks voting rights yet gains access to vital company information, which is inherently valuable for someone of Zhou Yenshin's background. And the second? Zhou Yenshin's gaze bore into me, imbued with an unusual intensity. Secondly, I wish to secure exclusive priority collaboration rights for the account today. I also want to eat melons for the next 3 years. I was taken aback. Account collaboration rights? What does he intend to do with that? Do not misunderstand. He seemed to see through my confusion, a smirk forming at the corner of his mouth. I have no interest in the gossip of the entertainment industry. However, I recognize your capacity to create buzz and steer public opinion. The Zhou family, in certain realms, also requires such unique channels for information dissemination. He paused, emphasizing, sometimes, a perfectly timed piece of gossip wields more power than mere gold. And you, Sujin, are a natural orchestrator. I understood now. He had recognized the immense influence of Miss Cha's persona in the public discourse and my ability to generate pivotal moments. He sought to harness this influence for his own purposes. I contemplated briefly. The observer position is acceptable. As for the account collaboration rights, I locked eyes with him. Exclusive priority is agreeable, but I will retain ownership of the account and final editorial control. Furthermore, all collaborative content must be lawful and ethical, not contravening my principles. Of course, Zhou Yenshin nodded readily. The specifics can be formalized in an agreement. What about interest? I pressed on a crucial point. Annualized at 5, a friendly rate. Zhou Yenshin chuckled. Consider it my investment in your future potential, Miss Cha. 5%. In the business world, that is practically a philanthropic loan. I quelled the tumult of emotions within me and extended my hand. It's a deal. Zhou Yenshin grasped my hand, his grip firm and warm. Pleasure doing business. Director Su. With the funds secured, everything fell into place seamlessly. Under Zhou Yenshin's discreet mediation, I suspected he had employed some tactics to neutralize other competitors. I successfully acquired the pivotal 73 stake at a price below Gu Zhenbang's initial asking price, yet still within reasonable bounds. Combined with my scattered acquisitions of 8 and 16 from the secondary market, my total shareholding soared to an impressive 17, making me the 3rd largest shareholder in the Gu group. Following the Gu father and son, Gu father at 32, Gu Chen at 15. When the lawyer placed a hefty stack of share transfer documents before me, I signed my name, Su Jin, with precision. The dust had settled. At the Gu Group's emergency shareholder meeting, I donned a sharply tailored white suit. Stepping in high heels alongside my assistant into the executive conference room at the Gu headquarters, a bastion of power. The expansive circular table was already filled with attendees. The Gu father and son occupied the main seats, their expressions as stormy as the sky before a tempest. The other directors and executives exhibited a spectrum of reactions: surprise, scrutiny, indifference, and perhaps a hint of schadenfreude. As I took my seat, designated for the third largest shareholder, I could distinctly feel Guchen's fiery glare upon me. The meeting commenced. The agenda revolved around discussions on salvaging the plummeting stock prices, managing the public relations crisis, and deliberations regarding the nomination of the newly minted major shareholder. Su Jin. Gu-father feigned vigor, attempting to steer the meeting, proposing some tepid restructuring plans and PR strategies. Guchen, however, remained sullen and silent throughout. When it was my turn to speak, I rose and surveyed the room. Esteemed directors, esteemed colleagues, my voice resonated clearly and steadily, echoing in the quiet conference room. What has brought the Gu family to this juncture? Where lies the root of our current predicament? I paused, casting a glance at the Gu father and son. In the grave misjudgments of the decision-making body. In the cronyism that has plagued our ranks. In the disregard for company interests and shareholder rights. Sacrificed on the altar of misguided personal sentiments. A farcical wedding spectacle has unveiled not merely the decay of personal ethics, but has also exposed the chaos and ineptitude of our management. My voice, though not loud, cut through the air with the sharpness of a blade. Guchen abruptly slammed the table and rose to his feet. Su Jin. Young Master Gu. I coldly interrupted him. My gaze sharp as ice. Please be mindful of the occasion. This is a shareholders' meeting, not your private club. Your impulsiveness and rudeness only serve to reinforce my argument. Guchen's face turned ashen, and under the disapproving stares of the surrounding board members, he begrudgingly sat back down. I proposed, redirecting my gaze to the assembly first. We must immediately initiate an independent investigation into Zhichuang technology. We need to clarify the financial and patent issues and provide an explanation to the market. Second, a comprehensive review of the group's investment strategy is imperative. We must eliminate those ostentatious yet unprofitable projects that merely serve to satisfy the vanity of a select few. Thirdly, my gaze finally settled on Guchen, brimming with unmasked intensity, in light of Mr. Guchen's recent actions that have severely tarnished the company's reputation and interests. As well as his gross negligence in management, I propose that he be relieved of all positions within the group. I also recommend he engage in profound self-reflection. As my words resonated, a profound silence enveloped the conference room. The sound of a pin dropping could be heard. Everyone was taken aback by my merciless and incisive three-pronged attack. To dismiss Guchen from his duties? This was tantamount to a complete rupture, casting the heir of the Gu family out of the power center. Gu's father turned pale, his trembling finger pointed at me. You will not get away with this. This is personal vengeance. Chairman Gu. I met his furious gaze with unwavering resolve. This is for the future of the Gu family. It is for the benefit of all shareholders present. If we continue to allow a person who cannot distinguish between personal and professional matters, who acts on emotions and lacks accountability, to occupy a high position, does the Gu family have a tomorrow? Is everyone's investment secure? I looked at the other board members. Esteemed colleagues. The plummeting stock prices, the evaporating market value, these represent real monetary losses. They're the tangible interests of everyone here. Shall we continue to gloss over the reality for the sake of a few people's pride, while the company spirals into the abyss? Silence. A deathly silence. Yet in this stillness, I noticed several previously neutral board members beginning to waver, their eyes flickering as they weighed the pros and cons. The Gu family's influence was evidently waning, a truth that was becoming increasingly apparent. Meanwhile, I, the newly ascendant and formidable third-largest shareholder, bore clear reformative intentions. Shadowed by the presence of the Zhou family, the observer status of Zhou Yanqin was no secret. Ultimately, under the despairing gaze of Gu's father and the resentful glare of Guchen, the votes were cast. My three proposals, the first two, investigating Zhichuang and reviewing investments, narrowly passed. The third, to remove Guchen from his position, barely secured a majority. With a definitive stroke, Guchen was stripped of all his roles within the Gu group. He slumped into his chair, as if his very backbone had been extracted, his face ashen. Gu's father seemed to age a decade in an instant. I calmly returned to my seat, disregarding the two venomous looks directed at me. The meeting concluded. As I stepped out of the conference room, the sun shone brilliantly outside. My phone vibrated. It was a message from Zhou Yanqin, simply stating, "Congratulations." I smiled and pocketed my phone. My assistant hurried to catch up. "Director Su, what's next?" Return to the company, I replied, my steps buoyant. Our own company. Indeed. While acquiring shares from the Gu family, I had already quietly registered a new investment firm with the funds earned from the stock market. The name was simple, Jinshin Capital. The office of Jinshin Capital was situated in the heart of the CBD, boasting a magnificent view. It lacked the cumbersome weight of an old aristocracy like the Gu family. Everything exuded an air of simplicity, efficiency, and a pioneering spirit. I sat behind a spacious desk, gazing out at the bustling urban landscape through the floor-to-ceiling windows. My assistant knocked and entered, presenting a document. Director Su, this is a preliminary report from the Gu Group regarding the independent investigation into Jichuang technology. The issues are even more severe than we anticipated. The financial holes are enormous, and there are serious risks of core technology patent infringements. Going public is completely out of the question. Once this news breaks, the stock price will likely. I took the report and skimmed through it swiftly. Indeed. It was a colossal bombshell. Understood. I set the report down, my expression composed. Proceed as planned. Additionally, how are the discussions regarding those poorly managed subsidiaries under the Gu family that we were interested in, but possess valuable assets? We're already in talks. 2 of them have shown a willingness to negotiate, and the prices are within our expected range. My assistant hesitated for a moment, lowering his voice. Moreover, several mid to senior level employees from the Gu family have privately expressed interest in switching over. I nodded. The Gu family S-ship was taking on water, and the astute were already seeking lifeboats. We would follow the process, collect what should be collected, and dig up what should be unearthed. Remember, we seek valuable assets and individuals, not debris. Understood. After my assistant left, I opened my computer and logged into my long-neglected gossip account. The backend was still in a state of explosion. The latest post was inundated with requests for updates from eager followers. Sister Cha, did Guchen really get kicked out? Was it your doing? We demand a live stream of the shareholders meeting drama. I want to imagine 10,000 words. Sister Cha, is your new company hiring? We want those who can gossip and dig up dirt. I chuckled, my fingers dancing over the keyboard. Today, I also wish to indulge in gossip. Sister Cha has been busy moving bricks, in the literal sense, and the gossip field is temporarily fallow. However, Sister Cha's new company, Jinshin Capital, officially opens today. Our main business, venture capital, corporate restructuring, and the disposal of non-performing assets, as well as occasionally part-time gossiping. Just kidding. Welcome aspiring, capable partners, ideally those who can also bring their own gossip field, to connect with us. As I posted, it instantaneously ignited a frenzy. Wow! Sister Cha has started a company? Jinshin Capital? That name, deep? Is it the deep I think it is? Is Sister Cha connected to that big shot? Sister Cha is amazing. From an onlooker to a capital mogul. Jinshin Capital. I shall ship this CP in reverence. Sister Cha, look at me. I graduated from a top-tier finance program. I can really gossip. I come with 24K titanium alloy gossip eyes. Watching the comment section spiral wildly and the follower count of Jinshin Capital's official account soar, I closed the page with satisfaction. Excellent. Free advertising, remarkably effective. My phone rang. It was Bo Yenshin. Director Su, congratulations on the grand opening. His deep, smiling voice came through. The advertising has been quite effective. Joe's information network remains ever so astute. I leaned back in my chair, thanks to you. Are you free tonight? He inquired, to celebrate? And to discuss the details of our collaboration in the gossip field. I pondered for a moment. Sure, where shall we meet? Yunding, he replied. Upon hearing this name, my brows arched slightly. The Yunding Club, a venue for the elite, where Lin Wanwan holds a gold card membership. It was also one of the starting points of that earlier uproar. Was Zhou planning to take me there to relive the past? I teased. A low chuckle came from the other end of the line. No, he said, I am taking you to collect the spoils. That evening, in the top-tier Lingxiao private room of the Yunding Club, there was none of the anticipated clamor and ostentation. Instead, it was adorned with understated elegance. Zhou Yenshin was already there. He was not in a suit today, but rather donned a soft, dark gray cashmere sweater that lent him an air of relaxed sophistication, softening his corporate sharpness. A bottle of red wine had already been decanted on the table. Please sit, he gestured to me. I took my seat and got straight to the point. The spoils? Zhou Yenshin remained silent, merely sliding a document across the table towards me. I opened it to find a share transfer agreement. Transferor, Zhou Yenshin, acting as a proxy. Transferee, Su Jin. Transfer subject, 67 equity in the Yunding Club. I abruptly looked up at him. The Yunding Club. This is the premier financial hub of City A, a veritable gold mine and, in a sense, an intelligence center. He was transferring the controlling stake to me? Why? I suppressed my astonishment, seeking clarity. 3 reasons. Zhou Yenshin swirled the wine in his glass. The red liquid flowing under the light. Firstly, this place was once a source of vexation for certain individuals, yet now it belongs to you. How you choose to manage it is entirely at your discretion. Secondly, the cash flow here is remarkably robust, and the flow of information even more so. For your newly established Jinshan capital, it serves as an excellent augmentation, both in terms of funding and intelligence. He paused, gazing at me with profound intensity. Thirdly, and most importantly, I wish to convey that those I, Zhou Yenshin, hold in high regard are deserving of the finest stakes. He raised his glass. Su Jin. From this moment forth, this place, along with myself, he smirked enticingly, is entirely at your disposal as your investment partner. The private room fell into a tranquil silence, with only the melodious background music flowing gently. I regarded him, my gaze fixed upon the invaluable equity transfer agreement, and his eyes, calm yet seemingly capable of consuming everything. After a moment, I smiled, lifting another glass of red wine that had been poured for me. The crisp sound of our glasses clinking resonated. To a fruitful collaboration. Investor Zhou. The wine slid down my throat, rich and mellow, reminiscent of the taste of victory. Beep. Core counterattack mission completed. Mainline task of observing and enjoying the drama. Success rate 100. Final rewards distributed. Ultimate passive skill, Eye of Fortune, slightly enhances hostess fortune, making it easier to attract opportunities and benefactors. Cash prize of 5 million. The system will soon enter a dormant maintenance phase, anticipating the host to seize greater opportunities on a larger stage. The electronic voice in my mind gradually faded away. I gazed at the swaying glass of red wine before me and Zhou Yenshin's meaningful smile. A new realm of opportunities lay at my feet, and the life of observing and enjoying the drama was only just beginning. The end of the text. Thank you for listening, and we shall meet in the next story.